Gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who's just come off a year of Vistar and lives in Ashton. We have Falguni Bhatt, who, when I think of Falguni and our journey and the many years I've known her, is very mature, very confident, and has grown into a space of her own. So again, remember the title speech, and you're going to do the thing? Yep, on board? So we have Character Matters by Falguni Bhatt. Falguni Bhatt, Character Matters.
Death. Yeah, you heard right. I said death. The one thing that is guaranteed. We all know that we have to face it one day. Yet, we fear it. So you might be wondering, why am I talking about such a depressing and morbid subject? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because recently, back in December, I lost my father. It was a big shock to all of us. We had a great Christmas together. The entire family came up, we had lots of fun, we had lots of games, we had plenty of food, and then a few days later, just like that, he's gone. Following my father's death, as you can expect, lots of people came home. They were sharing stories about him, they were talking about his characteristics and his different traits that he had. And it's at that point I realised that no one, absolutely no one, was talking about the type of car he drove, the house he lived, the clothes he wore, or even all the holidays that he'd been on. What they remembered was his character. What they talked about was his happy persona, his beautiful smile, and his great character. So it's at that moment I realised that the most important thing in life is our character. So there's things that they talked about, different traits. And one of the traits that he was renowned for is his loving personality. And he was so warm-hearted. Dad? He was really warm-hearted. He was the life and soul of any social gathering. Yeah, and he was a shoulder to cry on. He was always there for everyone. So there's other things that people remembered him for. They remembered him for his knowledge. He was a Hindu priest. He loved spreading the knowledge. He loved explaining why we did certain traditions, certain rituals. And he wanted everyone to understand those, the significance of those. So now, having thought about all these different traits that my father had, made me wonder, are we all born with those characteristics? Are we born to be kind? Are we born to be loving? Are we born knowledgeable? Are we? Well, we're not, I can tell you. And that's not just me saying it. Human beings are born without character. So there's been lots of studies on this. And one of the first studies was back in 1800, when a French physician called Jean-Marc Jasper Itard, I know it's a bit of a mouthful, he actually studied a feral child. So it's a child that was born and was left to be raised in the wild amongst the animals. And during the study, they found that this child, that human beings are actually born without culture, without language, without character. Because all these three things need to be developed, need to be cultivated, and it's through action or experience. So now that we know that we need to acquire these characteristics, where do we get them from? I'm sure a lot of you parents here, you want your child to be kind and loving and knowledgeable. So where do you get it? So I know if I want my child to be a great swimmer, I send them to a swimming class. If I want my child to be a great musician, maybe send them to a piano lesson. But is the swimming class or the piano lesson going to teach my child about culture, about courage, about compassion? Probably not. So the question remains, where does my child acquire this from? Now, I believe I know the answer. Would you like to know? Would you like to know?
Yes.
And you definitely want to know. Well, I can tell you, there's this place. And it's a place where we meet every week. It's a place where we learn all these characteristics very subtly. Because let's face it, whether you're young or whether you're old, you don't want to be told what to do and how to behave. Do we? No, we don't. So in this particular place, you learn in a unique way. You learn through play. You learn through the art of storytelling. You learn through team building exercises. So I'm going to tell you a story. Well, first I'll tell you what that place is. Do you all know? Shall I tell you?
Yes.
This place is called Shaka. Yeah? And this place is where we get together weekly and we develop all these characteristics. So I want to tell you about a story about a 7-year-old boy and his journey. So about 13 years ago, my auntie came to meet me and my brother. And she said, "Oh, Falguni, I am so upset. I just don't know what to do with my son." I said, "Why? What's wrong?" "All he does is play the PlayStation, he's playing FIFA, and as soon as we get a visitor, he runs upstairs to his room because he doesn't want to talk to anyone." I'm thinking, typical child who's just loves video games and who's socially awkward. So my brother's like, "Well, bring him to Shaka." So she does. She brings him week in, week out, and this boy, when he comes, he instantly connects with everyone through games. He's having fun, playing football, playing dodgeball, or any other games that they were playing. And remember, this socially awkward child is now talking to people. He's actually playing with girls and boys, communicating with them, with young and old. And he's not just learning the skill of communication. He then is learning other things. Through playing when he's running and then he gets caught, he's learning honesty. He needs to be honest that he was out. That's another trait he's learning very subtly. Then he's learning about Hindu Dharma through the art of storytelling. He's learning about our great personalities in Hindu Dharma. He's learning about Maharana Pratap Singh. He's learning about Shivaji Maharaj. He's learning about their skills that made them confident enough to win their cause, their characteristics, their courage, their discipline. At the same time, he's learning from Itihas, from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. He's learning about morality. He's learning what is right, what is wrong. So when he faces those dilemmas in his own life, he can understand through those stories what is morally correct and what is incorrect. I told you, it's very subtle, but very effective. So now this boy grows up a little bit, and he goes to his mum, "Mum, I'm going to be the Mukhya Shikshak," which is the main teacher who conducts all the activities, "the Mukhya Shikshak of Shaka, just like Hariom Bhai." So his mum looks at him thinking, bit ambitious, thought, fine. So she comes and tells us this as well. A few years later, this boy indeed does become the Mukhya Shikshak of the Shaka. Because of his confidence, the way he's communicating with people, and he's learned so many different skills on this journey. Now, he grows up a little bit more, and he's at university, and he's part of the National Hindu Students' Forum. And in that, he's now all the all the values that he's learned through Shaka, he's inculcating in fellow students. And also, the act of service, the Seva Bhavana he's learned throughout Shaka, is now you can see when he took out 6 weeks last year to actually do internship for Youth for Seva, going to Bharat and actually helping the underprivileged. And this is only one example of one boy. And that boy is my cousin Harshit Joshi. There are thousands of girls and boys alike who've been through Shaka and have developed those skills. And it's only now that I understand why my father sent us and encouraged us to go to Shaka. And today, amongst all of you, I have discussed how I believe character is the most important asset. And I'm hoping that you agree with me today as well. Because ultimately, it is our character that matters. And that's what we're going to be remembered for. And we now know that character needs to be developed. Shaka is that vessel. Shaka is that place where we can inculcate our Hindu dharma, these soft skills that we need to become a better human being, a better citizen for the Samaj. I'm going to leave you with one question. When it's the end of your days, how would you like to be remembered?